Sorry about that. Having a little technical difficulties on my end.
No problem. So it looks like we have a quorum, so I will call the meeting to order. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the April 6th, 2022 meeting. So can I get a motion to approve those April 6th minutes?
Motion to approve minutes from our last meeting.
I second.
All right, and Dave, can we do a roll call vote?
Commissioner Richmond,
Yes.
Commissioner Strickland,
Approved?
Commissioner Reed,
Here.
Commissioner Fishman,
Approved.
and Commissioner Shambi.
Approved.
All right. Oh, and Dave, I'm sorry. I don't know. Do we need to do the official call of who is present? Or can we?
I think we can.
Well, the roll
skip
call just, okay, perfect. All right. Next item up is the public comment. So is there anyone on the call that wants to give public comment at this time? I don't. So hearing none, we can move on to the items up for consideration tonight. The first being the review of complaint register 21-03. So can I get a motion that we move on to review CR 21-03?
I'd like to move that the committee discuss CR 2103.
Scott, you're on mute.
Second.
Sorry, second.
Great. And can we get a vote on that to move on to discuss CR 21-03?
Commissioner Richmond,
Approve.
Commissioner Strickland,
Approve?
Commissioner Reed,
Approve.
Commissioner Fishman,
Approved.
Commissioner Shambi.
Approve.
All right, and so we'll start off the discussion with Commander Glue giving us a summary of CR 21-03.
Okay, we'll talk about CR 2103. Also, in addition, this is about, I believe, about 13 minutes of body worn camera footage we will need to review. So this was related to a traffic stop on September 3rd, 2021. The Office of Professional Standards received a complaint from a driver. Stated that he was cited for running a stop sign, but did not. Also stated the accused officer entered the vehicle without permission, and the accused officer made contact with his children. The complainant further stated the children were scared, they did not feel safe during the stop. The complainant requested an investigation in the matter. So it was classified as a complaint register. Also in this, the complainant talked about, the driver talked about being scared and nervous, so on and so forth. Initially maybe giving us the feeling or the impression that the traffic stop was contentious. So based on the accusation, the alleged rule violations were Rule 1, 2, 20, and Lexipol Policy 312.3, which oversees searches of vehicles. So the incident itself was on July 16th of 2021. The accused officer was on stationary patrol of Madison and Dewey when he saw the vehicle fail to stop for the stop sign. The investigation in this matter and review of body worn camera footage initially showed that the conversation, the traffic stop, was polite, free of apparent conflict. There was conversation about the kids being properly secured. The accused officer did go in the back did ask permission during the conversation to go in the back seat and check on the children, but did not wait for a specific over answer or permission. Also, those did show that the officer did not make contact with the complainant's children. Myself and the OPS sergeant at that time, we interviewed the complainant. And he basically talked about it was there was a search without consent, that he was nervous and scared. There was touching of his children. We interviewed the accused officer. Many of the facts were consistent, and I would say that a lot of the facts were differences were based on interpretation or reported context. The officer did say that he went and checked the safety of the safety seats, but did so pursuant to the lawful reason of the safety of minor children being basically not being properly secured, and the danger that presented also is part of a larger conversation. Said that he did not touch the children, and nobody seemed fearful, or there was no duress at the time of the stop. We completed the investigation, turned it over to the traffic sergeant, the immediate supervisor. They reviewed the investigation and exonerated the officer. It then went to the deputy chief. There was not a commander over the traffic bureau. They also did not sustain and exonerated with no further action and no discipline. So that is a summary of that investigation and incident. Before we go to executive session and view the body worn camera footage, does anybody have any questions or any issues that I can address?
I just had a logistics question before we go into executive session. For the next incident that we have to review tonight as well, the DI 21-02, does that one also have camera footage?
Yes,
And
that one is.
should we review both of the footage at the same time so we don't have to go back and forth from executive session, or what's the?
If these were simple, I mean, these are not super complicated cases, but one has 13 minutes of video, one has 20 minutes of video.
Okay.
I would say DI 2102 it's not complicated, but it's got a couple moving parts.
Can I make a suggestion that you move that into, make a motion to discuss the next one as well, since we're already starting to?
Yes.
And then after we get the report from Commander Glue, then we can move into exec session on both of them.
Okay. All right, so can I have a motion to begin discussing DI 21-02?
A motion that we discuss DI 21-22.
Second,
Can we get a vote on that?
Just a minute, I'm making notes. Commissioner Richmond,
Approve.
Commissioner Strickland,
Approve.
Commissioner Reed,
Approve.
Commissioner Fishman, Commissioner Fishman,
approve.
and Commissioner Shambi.
Approve.
All right, so Commander Glue, if you could give us the summary of DI 21-02, so we can move into executive session on both.
Sure. So on July 21st of 2021, the OPS received an online complaint. Complaint was from, I believe, a parent about their juvenile daughter being dragged and kicked by an officer while the officer was trying to break up a fight. There was also some accusations of what we would consider to be, if they were true, unprofessional behavior on the officer's part. There was two officers in the original incident. Officer one, the allegations were true. It appeared that they may have violated rules 1, 2, 18, 19, 20, and 51. Accused officer number 2, be rule 1, 2, 7. Sorry, 1, 2, and 7. So the investigation was done by the OPS sergeant. The initial investigation was done by the OPS sergeant assigned at that time. It was discovered that one of the accused officers did not initially activate their body worn camera, but did activate it after the incident happened. That would have been due to the fact that it was a on-view large disturbance, and sometimes activating the body worn camera footage and taking the immediate necessary actions are not can't be done at the same time. So I'm gonna trust, and I can follow up with answering any questions. I trust everybody's kind of read the summary, so I'm going to kind of touch on some of the elements, probably a little bit more briefly than I did with the last one. So it comes down to, there was an accusation of unprofessional behavior on the officer's part. Our review showed that officer number 2 may have been inattentive to duty before the incident occurred. There was also, the review showed a question that we wanted to answer prior to bringing this to CPRC was, there was an accusation that the investigating patrol sergeant that was investigating the use of force, which is a separate incident from this, or separate investigation from this, if they violate any rules by denying the juvenile a parent before they were questioned about the use of force. So with that, I'm going to move on to what the review revealed and the recommendations prior to today. So the rule violations against the officers were found, the determination was they were unfounded. That was also concurred by the deputy chief. It was this office that did do the review and located the answer that needed. The question of, did a sergeant violate policy by not making an adult available to the juvenile before questioning? We sent that down. The patrol commander reviewed it, found it to be, in their estimation, a policy failure. The deputy chief reviewed it and found that that decision did violate Rule 2, 6, and 20. Recommended a written reprimand. Basically, paraphrasing, but centers around the fact that a sergeant, the sergeant's going to have to make a decision in these gray areas, and the decision should have been better. So, with that, do I have any questions or clarification? I know that was a little abbreviated.
Commander, just a quick question with,
Sure.
and this might be slightly off topic. So the fact that it is a kind of a gray area, is that something that the department is looking at to make it less gray, or is that just strictly a sergeant's decision the next time an incident like this occurs?
I think in this instance, once the review of this is done, we'll look at this and to see if there's a opportunity to address this particular policy issue and make it less gray, if that's what's necessary. So yes, that will be part of the review going forward.
Great, thank you.
And I had a question on the footage on this one. So you said the first officer's body worn camera wasn't activated. So is the footage from the second officer or from a bystander? That wasn't clear from the summary. It sounded like it was cell phone footage from someone else.
We have
Both, right?
cell phone footage. We have the second officer's body worn camera footage, and then we have some body worn camera footage from inside the station.
Got it. All right, so I think we can have a motion to move into executive session. And for that one, we'll need to read the full executive session motion that's on the linked on the agenda. So can someone make that motion?
So I'll move to convene into executive session pursuant to 5 Illinois compiled statutes, I guess I move that the Citizen Police Review Commission convene into executive session to discuss agenda items regarding personnel. These agenda items are permitted subjects to be considered in executive concession and are enumerated exceptions under the Open Meetings Act. The exception is 5 Illinois CS 120. Do we need also do all that? 122A C1 as set forth as follows. Do we
Yeah, I
need
think you
exceptions?
do.
Okay.
Yeah,
C,
unfortunately.
a public body may hold closed meetings to consider the following subjects. One, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee of the public body or against legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity.
Okay, and can someone second that motion?
I second.
All right, so at this time, we're gonna leave this meeting and join the executive session.
I'm sorry, we
Zoom
need to
link.
vote on that motion though.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's take a vote.
Commissioner Richmond,
Approve.
Chair Strickland,
Approved.
Commissioner Reed,
Approve.
Commissioner Fishman,
Approve.
Commissioner Shamby.
Approve.
Okay,
Elena, this is probably gonna take a minimum of 35 minutes.
Thank you.
Okay, so the executive session is a different number?
yes, it is. I sent that in an email around noon today,
Okay,
or maybe a little later.
Yeah, I think it was around 1 o'clock in my inbox. So we'll join.
We'll leave
Actually,
this
Dave,
meeting.
you know
Yeah.
what? I'm not actually. Oh, is it in Luke's email below? Okay. I
Yes.
got it now. Okay,
I'm sorry.
All right.
I just forwarded Luke's email.
okay, perfect.
So we
All
have
right,
to leave this meeting, join the other one,
and
then
then we'll
we'll
come back.
leave that one and come back to this meeting. So
All right.
bouncing back and forth between emails.
All right, we'll see everyone over on the other link.